Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Lead Laced Anarchy channel and to the first episode of Cooking with the Network. Obviously, it's going to be a cooking stream, at least the end result of a cooking stream, I should say, because I'm not going to be actually doing cooking on stream for these. It'll just be the end result product of what I cooked for the most part. But yeah, I figured we would do these from time to time. I started doing this on the main channel probably about a month ago or so, give or take, and people seem to like them, honestly. So I figured I'd keep going with it. And yeah, I figured we would start today by talking about sausage links, which is something I do love to cook quite a bit of for breakfast and lunch and everything else like that, as well as bacon and everything else like that as well. I'm a big meat eater in general. No veganism here is what it is. No vegetarianism here. None of that stupid shit like that, honestly. Um, because the thing is, you need protein in your system, dude. That's just the fact of life. There's a reason why when you watch shows like Naked and Afraid and stuff like that, why whenever they're not getting meat and protein in their systems and stuff like that, why their joints are hurting, why their bodies are messed up, uh, why their brains aren't functioning properly, and it's because human beings are meant to be carnivores. Period. In the story, and the whole point of that is that you should have meat in your diet. You should have protein in your diet in the form of various meats. And I'm not saying it should be like just, carnivore diet only kind of thing or anything like that, but like, which obviously that might be the case for you because you may have, actual gastro issues, but that's a whole different story together, who it is. But no, you should have like a balance of food in your system. And one of those things is some kind of protein or a lot of proteins for that matter, actually. And basically today we're going to talk about specifically Aldi sausage links, which is what I just cooked up here a little bit ago to eat. Had a banana too, obviously, but I already finished that. So, that's another thing too. By the way, you need potassium in your system eventually. So, another great thing to have is fruit, like bananas or something else like that, or some vitamin C, some oranges, or uh, some tangerines or something like that is what it is. Or in that same vein of things as well for other vitamins and minerals. You obviously have apple juice you can drink. So, but yeah, today I want to talk about the perfect scald for sausage links because we have a bunch of them on this plate. Here's what it is, and there's some that got a little bit overdone. Like specifically, I consider how black that is to be a little bit overdone. That being said, there is a perfect balance point, and that's pretty much right here. If you can see the brownage on that, that's pretty much where you want these to be because that's where it's pretty much perfectly cooked, and it's not going to be overly done. But unfortunately, when it keeps flipping itself to the one side or something like that, sometimes it does get that kind of blackened on the one side, and then of course the other side is a little bit less black, but still blackish. Uh, and it's a little bit of burnish is what it is there, obviously. And then there's a couple other ones in here that are pretty good looking. Specifically, you got that one right there. That's pretty decent looking. Obviously, these took about I believe it was about 10 to 12 minutes to cook these on medium heat. So, on our oven it's I want to say 5. So it starts out at 8, and then we take it down to about 5, give or take. Put them on there for a few minutes. Actually, this one's probably the least cooked of all of them. Like that's almost what you want, but not quite. Like you want a little bit more than that, just to make sure it's all like cooked through is what it is. Because that's why we'd like to cut these two for that matter, so you can actually see the inside where it's nice and cooked all the way through is what it is there. Because the last thing you want to be doing, especially with pork products, is eating something that is, undercooked. Because again, that's going to cause you to have like food issues and stuff like that, and potential food poisoning also for that matter. Interestingly enough, when we talk about food poisoning and stuff like that, real quick, something people don't realize when it comes to getting food poisoning from a restaurant or something like that is everybody always thinks it's like an undercooked steak or an undercooked piece of chicken or undercooked, pork chop or something like that is what it is. That's almost never the case at all. The two places that you actually get food poisoning from are those places that put lemons in your water. And it's because of the fact that when they're cutting up a lemon to throw into water, they're cutting on the same cutting board that they used for meat, is what it is. And so you're basically getting like a mixture between like salmonella poisoning and like some kind of other, various poison from like the chicken that had all its juices like dropped out on that whole thing, being, not cooked at the time, and it was being prepared on that little slicer thing is what it is there. And really anything else for that matter, like E. coli, all that stuff like that is on there as well. And that's the problem. People in restaurants don't bother to actually wash those on a regular basis. Is what they need to be doing. Well, some do obviously because they're better than other places. What it is, but like if you're ever at like a really low grade place that has like not an A grade on their fucking window or whatever the case be, where it's like a C or a D or something like that, that's the reason why, because they're not doing their proper maintenance in the back there to actually keep their kitchen clean, and it's allowing for cross contamination like crazy. And so what you're getting there is you're getting that as one of the main points would be the lemons and stuff that would be in water there. The second place is lettuce. This is one I learned about a few years ago, actually, which I thought was interesting, which is specifically when they're putting lettuce into salads and stuff like that, or they're chopping it up and stuff like that to put in the salads or whatever it is. Again, they're using that same kind of cutting board as what it is without actually washing it first. And so what you're having is you're having a cross-contamination of whatever, steak juice or chicken juice or whatever it was there from being raw protein that was on that thing before that. And it was having the fat cut off of it or was having like trimming up or whatever the case be there. And so it's not the meat that's actually getting you sick. It's the juices that were left on the cutting board that are now being cross-contaminated into either lettuce or lemons or something like that is what it is then. So, yeah, that's also one reason why I don't tend to eat at a lot of places, just because, I don't know how good this place is what it is. And, there's a few places I'll go to, not on a regular basis anymore because of the fact that obviously I am poor. And I think a lot of Americans are anymore with inflation and everything else like that. So that's why I tend to do a lot of the prepping myself here at the house is what it is, and cooking myself is what it is now. So, but yeah, I think these sausages are really good, honestly. The Aldi sausage brand is, I'm not even sure like what it would be a name brand of, because I know the thing with Aldi's is a lot of the stuff that they have is like their quote unquote store brand is actually marketed under name brands at other places, like whether it be a Giant Eagle or whether it be a Kroger or any place like that nationwide, Piggly Wiggly, fucking what's that one down in Texas? It's like HB's or something like that or whatever. I forget what the actual name was offhand. There's a few down there, or it's like Colorado with like King Supers and stuff like that. It's various different chain grocery stores like that and stuff like that. Or it could be like IGAs across America. By the way, if you've never been to an independent grocery, I think it's association is what it actually stood for. You ever been to an IGA in your life, dude? You're missing out, because those are actually some of the best mom and pop places I've ever been to in my entire life. There's not a whole lot of them left anymore. They were more when I was a kid, like 25, 30 years ago, give or take. But yeah, they're really good places, though. They're really, really good places. Because usually it's just like it's mostly in like a rural area around the country, like maybe like some backwoodsy area, whatever the case be, and like this, like I wouldn't even say the South. It's just like just like real dense population area and stuff like that, where it's just like their main store is what it is there. And usually it's just, maybe 5 employees at most, give or take, in a given time. And it's usually run by like a husband and wife duo or something like that. And then, they'll hire like a couple high school kids or something for their cashiers / stockers and stuff. So, but yeah, really, really good place. There's still one by my aunt that I like to go to on occasion, because they still do the chicken down there is what it is I like to get. It's not as good as the one that used to be around here, though, because that's the big thing. I think it's a slightly different recipe across the board for their roasted chicken. And I know with them, I think they put too much spice in theirs is what it is. Whereas I know that one that was around here that became a Save-A-Lot, and now it's been taken over by, I want to say it's a Family Dollar store or something like that now. So, because the guy who owned the Save-A-Lot was like, oh, let me go ahead and fuck over my employees over here, not tell any of them that we're going to, close up shop here in the next day or two, and just start packing up all the shit in the back, and then that's what it is, and throwing it in a fucking truck to go take it to one of these other places around here is what it was. That's what he did, basically. He basically, right before the holidays here, I think it was 2 years ago now, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, sorry. It was, I think it was 2020 going into 2021. That's when it happened then. So yeah, it was like 2.5 years ago, give or take. Not quite. But anywho, basically, they were doing record business then at that point because of the lockdowns and everything else like that. And this slippery son of a bitch legitimately Gave no employees any week's notice at all. Didn't give them 2 weeks notice. Didn't give them a week's notice. Didn't give them a day's notice. Really is what it was. Or no, sorry, I think he gave him a day's notice. What it was actually after it was all said and done. Then, and it was because he basically got caught in the act. Because what he was doing basically was he was like, "Oh, I can't," because apparently what happened was the original place that was the IGA, the family that owned it, instead of actually selling the building, they were renting this building to this guy. And I guess the rent costs, at least in his mind is what it was, weren't equaling out to profit margins for him. And he had another business that he actually owned outright up in, I believe it was a Cleveland area. It was another Save-A-Lot store, another grocery store, there it was. And he basically took everything from this Save-A-Lot over here and moved it up to that one. And meanwhile, gave his employees like a couple of days notice, like it was like right before Christmas time or something like that. So it was like the 22nd or something. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna close down at the end of the fucking year," and it's like, what? So yeah, he left all these people, including some people I went to high school with that were like managers at that place now, in their late 30s, early 40s now, high and dry, and it's like that's fucked up, bro. I feel like honestly, like that was pretty close to a lawsuit if it wasn't a lawsuit. In the fact, if that be the case, man. So yeah, that dude was just really, really scummy in general. But from everybody I've talked to that worked at that place, they said that guy was a piece of shit in general as a boss. So it makes sense logically when you think about it. So, yeah, you can really. Ooh, now that that's gotten a little bit cool. You can really, really taste the not only the spice of the sausage now, which is not a whole lot of it. It's just a little bit there, but you can really, really, really taste that that scald, that crust, whatever you call it, there on the outside, and it tastes so good, man. Mm. It's kind of like bacon on us, actually. The crustiness of the sausage is what it is here. Where you have with bacon, when you fry up bacon, when you fry up properly, bacon, obviously, because there are some people out there, including my sister-in-law and her son, because of her, obviously, who and I think it was really her mom is what it was just didn't cook it properly, is what it was beginning with in her childhood is what it was there. This woman, I don't know what it is, man. You can throw a piece of bacon, like raw bacon, from the package into a fryer, let it go for about maybe a minute or so, if even that long, and then flip it over like one time for like another like 30 seconds or so, and she's like, "That's good." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's good. I'm good. I can eat that now." And I'm like, "That's still raw. Like, it still needs to be cooked through." She's like, "No, no, no. I like it real limp." And I'm like, "You're not even getting the proper taste out of it then." So, yeah, if you're gonna do bacon, you need to do it fried. You need to fry it up correctly, man. Which is you fry it long enough to where it gets nice and crispy and brown, and isn't all translucent and shit. And then you can actually eat it properly then, where it is nice and crispy and has that, nice crispy taste to it and stuff like that. So, and plus at that point, when you actually get it nice and fully cooked through and everything like that, it actually adds more flavors and brings out more flavor and stuff like that. Also brings out carcinogens, unfortunately, which is a different story altogether. That's the whole thing of, people always talk about like cancer causers and stuff like that. That technically is one of them. But that being said, you would have to eat you pretty much have to eat like bacon like every meal every day for like decades of your life to get like some kind of cancer from that. That's what it is, dude. So all the mainstream media that's sitting there saying like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna cause cancer," like fuck you, dude. No, it's not. Again, this is why you eat things in moderation. Like even if you're eating it like every day of the week for breakfast or something like that, or like even a few days a week for breakfast, like no, it's not gonna cause you to have like cancer like 20 years down the road. That's other environmental factors and stuff. So I'd be more about what's the fucking water supply at this point, whether it be, especially living in major cities, whether it be the tap water in lead pipes and stuff like that, or whether it be anything else that's being shot through and through the cleaning process from being turned from urine back into clean drinking water, what it is, and having all the other stuff thrown in there too, for that matter, whether it be, psych drugs, or whether it be estrogen, testosterone, all kinds of other chemical stuff, actual street drugs, etc. So that's another story for another topic. That's not a topic for another story, obviously, for another stream. But yeah, this is supposed to be about cooking, is what it is right here. But yeah, so basically, I do like to get my sausage done pretty good like that. Like I said, that's almost done. The other side is pretty close to being done completely. And then this one here is just a little bit overdone, but it's still good though. I have it kind of crunch in my mouth. That's got a nice crunch to it now. That's been sitting for a few minutes. So, yeah. Definitely good stuff. I got a little bit of bread with this too, is that for that matter. I was originally going to break these up somehow to do them into like a actual sandwich. Unfortunately, it's really hard to cut these to like half lengths is what it would be, like straight down is what it is then. So it's basically ripping up the actual bread and like eating it then after the fact. Which this bread is pretty good actually. This is I think it's some kind of Italian if I'm not mistaken. It's probably one of the better breads I've actually had in the last couple of months now. It's really good for sandwiches, actually. Whenever I'm doing a peanut butter, or whenever I'm doing like a PB&J, or whenever I'm doing like if I go to like Giant Eagle here and stuff, I'll get some of those big ass pepperoni slices like that, basically, and put about 5 or 6 of those on there. And yeah, that's just a good lunch right there, man. So, also excellent for deli turkey for that matter too. Or even like fried bologna. I was going to do some fried bologna one of these days, but unfortunately, the pack that I had sitting in there the other day, I just checked it today, gave it a smell test, and oh yeah, it was way expired, dude. And I checked the date, and of course, it was like a few months ago that it was been sitting there for. So yeah, it makes sense. It just never got used, unfortunately, and it does suck when that happens, obviously, because you never want to let that go, especially when you're paying premium price for that kind of stuff. Now is what it is. So. But yeah, unfortunately, everything with mom's health and everything just sort of fell to the wayside, I think is what it was, and it kind of got buried in the meat drawer is what it was then. So I pretty much cleaned out most of the meat drawer today is what it was then, and tossed out a bunch of stuff that was just nasty and looked like it was like about to go bad in there or had gone bad in there. And yeah, the fridge smells much better now is what it is because all the shit that was in there, it was all gross, is gone now. So. But anyway, be back later tonight, obviously on Honda's chat. I think he's going to do his Gay Frog chat for the night. Still hoping to get back to main account at some point here is what it is, but unfortunately, Google being the fucking powers that be here, they want to suppress people, I think is what it is, and I believe that's exactly what they're doing with me right now. They're trying to suppress my my free speech is what it is here, man. Right before the election, which makes sense logically. When you're calling out, things that are about to happen in this country, when you're calling out the left, et cetera, it's like, of course, they're going to cuck for these motherfuckers all the time. But anyway. But yeah, needless to say, I think we're going to be doing these Cooking with a Network streams on a regular basis now on this channel. I'm not sure exactly how many more I'll do for the next month or so. It might be every week. It might be every couple of weeks or something like that. It just depends when I'm going to make something, whatever the case be. Maybe I'll do something about bacon next one, honestly, because I did want to cook with some bacon tomorrow is what it is. So if we have another one, we might do one tomorrow if that be the case then. Where we fry up some bacon, maybe make a bagel with it or something like that. Showing how you should get your bagel done. At least how I like mine done, obviously, because, some people like theirs like not really cooked fully. I prefer mine with like a little bit of brown around the actual top and bottom, Like, obviously not burned, because that's just gross. But, like, when you're talking about, like, bagels and stuff, dude, like, yeah, you should have, like, a nice little, like, crispy brown crust on it. And, if you want to do some butter on there, if you want to do some cream cheese on there. That's good too. Obviously, I like cream cheese on mine. It's good filler. Obviously, a lot of carbs, unfortunately, but that's to be expected. Even the bread I'm eating right now is full of carbs, obviously. And unfortunately, that's what puts on the weight a lot of the times because, those carbs become sugars, and then eventually your body is basically just processing that as sugar, essentially, is what it is. So, yeah, not a fun time at all, man. But, that being said, it is wintertime now. It's like 25, 30 degrees out currently, and got the heater on over there. Heating the room up right now for the space heater. So, just trying to keep warm. But anyway, need to get my beard one of these days to where it can be all nice and sort of like together is what it is, instead of being all crazy and pieces here, pieces there, and stuff like that. I need to get a haircut one of these days too. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a situation where I just find the clippers around the house and it just buzz my fucking head is what it's going to be. So, yeah. The problem with that is too, like, not knowing exactly, because with that doing your haircut yourself is what it is. Sometimes you miss a piece or two is what it is then, and you look kind of fucked up when you go outside. That's what it is then. So, yeah, like that's the only reason I like to go to an actual, place, whether it be a barber or a salon or something like that. That's what it is then, to have them do it there. But even that's getting way too expensive these days, dude. I think the last time I went to a Great Clips, they up the price by like $5 or something like that. And it's like, that's insane, dude, because it was almost $20 for a fucking haircut at that point. And I'm just like, man, that is a racket. Because seriously, like for me, like all they're doing legitimately is they call it a number 2, which is the actual clipper set that they use is what it is. They're taking a fucking pair of clippers and going buzz, 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 buzz all around my head for about 5 minutes, dude. And they're charging me like $20 for that almost. And it's like, yeah, y'all are making a different profit there is what it is, man. Like, that's some bullshit entirely. So, like, I could see if it was like a woman's haircut where it takes like, 25 minutes because you're doing like various lengths on the hair and stuff like that and everything else like that, or like an hour sometimes, case B, sometimes depending on what it is for the people. Or even like a different guy where it's like, maybe they want like a design or something in their thing that you're able to do for them or whatever, then where it's going to take you like a half hour, 45 minutes to do that stuff. But yeah, for me, when it's like, I can walk into that chair, you can pull the fucking clippers out and be like, zoop, 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 and I'm out of the chair in like 5 to 7 minutes, give or take. Like, nah, bro, like there should be scales of pricing there is what it is, for real. So yeah, I definitely feel like they're definitely screwing me over is what it is on that. So, unfortunately, sometimes you gotta do it yourself, man. Sometimes you gotta DIY that bitch. So, anyway. But we'll be back on the, I'll be doing another stream on my backup channel now, which is now also known as the Hot Picture Education Network, this coming week. That one is now known as, if you actually look it up, it's at Real Open 6/13/22. I believe that's what I have it listed as right now. So, in fact, let me go see if I can find it here, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll maybe drop a link in the description here or something, or on the channel. So, yeah, let me see here now. We should look it up as that, actually, because there should be 2 that pop up. Okay, it was just the main one that popped up, unfortunately. Damn. Let's try this again now. Okay, here it is. Found it. So yeah, it'll be we'll just edit this right now and put it in our editation here. if I can. Hopefully I can do this while I'm live still. It should be in the link in the description now for that other channel. And we'll be doing streams on that going forward, just because, you know, stuff and things. And until we can get our main account back and the channel strike falls off of that, we can actually do things the right way without having to deal with, you know, stupid fuckery is what it'll be. We'll just do it from there is what it is then. So, but yeah, like I said, these Aldi sausage links are very, very good. Definitely, like I said, if you want to get them nice and crispy and done properly like that, it's about 12 minutes, give or take. You know, what I'll tend to do is I'll tend to throw them in there, and then I will simply take a pair of tongs and just flip them every so often. Sometimes you can't really do them like all the way is what it is, though, because there are times where you'd like to do it like, you know, sort of like a four square is what it is, where you do them like the first half down, flip them over completely, and then it's like the half turn. But unfortunately, because the way that they sit in there and the way that they're sort of cylindrical, they don't want to actually stay in that direction unless you have them like all packed together and have a bunch of them in there together is what it is then. And you can just do like the half turn thing, and then you basically just do like the half turn again. What it is then. Or not half turn, you do a full turn at that point where it's the other half for the fourth side. That's what it'll be then. And then sometimes you can get it nice and good on all sides then. Like that one didn't really get it completely done on that side, but then the other side did. And like I said, you got the middle and the other half. So it's like 3/4 get done properly, and then the other half doesn't, or the other fourth doesn't really get done as you want it to get done. But then there are some that do get like quite a bit better than that. And we'll get completely all the way done. This one's another example of ones that didn't get all the way done. Like you got that half or that fourth. It's like almost all the way done because it's got a little bit there in the back part. And then the other side is all the way done. And then that side's a little bit burned. And the other side is like kind of burned. So yeah, it is what it is, man. But yeah, like I said, this and then like, actually, honestly, if you would want to do this like all the way, like do all these and stuff like that, and then like slice them up into like pieces or whatever, and make like a homemade pizza where you have like pepperoni on it or whatever, and then you just like throw like some slices of sausage on there, then is what it would be. Or actually, even for that same kind of things I'm thinking about too, like fry these all the way up or whatever the case be, cut them into like more bite-sized bits like that maybe or something, and then do some pasta and have it as like your meat in the sauce and stuff like that. That would be really good actually, now I think about it, dude. So that's another option to do with these. Would be turn them in from a breakfast sausage into like an actual like dinner meat of some kind then. So yeah, it would definitely work. But anyway, so that's it for the day though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will be back, like I said, probably if I do another one of these cooking with a network streams, it'll be probably tomorrow or Tuesday, one of the two. And then I will do stuff on the Real Open channel. This will be going forward for Buckshot Thursday, Freedom Friday, etc., etc. there. So anyway, have a good one, y'all. Later.